Got some pretty cool news to share this morning. It doesn't directly impact my whole ideas with steemcasting, but it certainly opens up and renews it a little bit for me in terms of my attention. Uh, so, eposvox, I think that's eposvox. Great channel if you don't follow him on YouTube. Announced this morning about OBS Studio 25. Release Client 1 has been released. It's the first big update in over a year, and there's a whole bunch of stuff to unpack in it. But I'm going to concentrate on like 2 or 3 things which interest me, obviously, for steemcasting, and kind of open that up a little bit. So it got like announced this morning, 16 hours ago. So while I was sleeping yesterday, I didn't even see this actually yesterday. Vulkan support, which is a bit like DirectX 12. It's like the competitor one for mainly from AMD, I think it is. It's not like a Microsoft baked into Windows environment. Vulkan is kind of like the layer, the graphical layer that allows the game to run, basically, or at least the engine which the developers of the game can bake in to support a bunch of rendering options of the game, if you like. I am halfway coffee in this morning, so I'm probably going to be a little bit janky on details. So you can grab it over on OBS Studio 25, Release Candidate 1. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there that they've changed. Bear in mind that, like I said earlier, it's the first update in over a year, and there's just so many bugs and crashes, which is more that I'm interested in. But I want to concentrate on a few things that are very specific for steemcasting. So the first thing, which I think is really, really freaking cool, is there's this ability to create widgets and put them on a website and then pull them straight into OBS. So my whole idea of doing overlays and promotion for like the Steem blockchain, the blockchain that I use pretty much every day to post and blog on and share my videos and stuff, the ability to spin up a site for all the dApps and people be able to download OBS and drag this into the stage on OBS, and it's kind of configured and ready to go. That's super exciting because it just the friction between actually getting that up and running for non-techie people, just to be able to drag a series of different like plugins effectively, and then me build the engine behind what my idea is. It just makes things so much easier. Like, for instance, I can think of this for doing an interview with somebody. I could build them a overlay layer which has their name and some details on there, or maybe pulls in some Steem details, and we can have those as overlays for people, and they can just drag these into their OBS and stream into a service, and then I can capture that. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that can be done with this. I think I can play around with this and even set up a little tiny business around this, making like overlays easier than selling them on Gumroad, for instance. I don't know how I do the subscription model to this yet. I don't know if it's just like a donation based thing or like a pay to play to unlock a page with these buttons on. I don't know. The next thing that I'm really interested in as well is SRT. So SRT in some ways is similar, as far as I can work out, to NDI. So NDI is this kind of compression protocol codec, if you want to call it that, baked into some hardware. So instead of like RTMP streams, it's like a very robust protocol for getting the video stream to a destination. And so this SRT is now support. Also another similar thing to that, another protocol similar to that, is the SRT Alliance, which is originally developed by this company called Haivision, which are here. They've got like a free mobile player that you can download, and they seem to have like a CDN and everything else. And underneath that, they seem to have a lot of major big players that are using their systems. So kind of interested in this because it's good to have competition. This SRT transport, what's really cool about it is, from my perspective, it's got error correction mechanisms in there for real-time network conditions, which obviously we know in 2020 is like a war zone on the internet when it comes to stuff like that. So this also has end-to-end encryption with the AES as well, which, I just think from a perspective, if you're going to start doing a like video streaming portal, anything you can do to like have, you know, adapting network conditions and having a protocol that is a little bit more is a lot more robust than other ones out there. I think that's just a win-win. And if you have a look on the SRT Alliance site, you can see that they're, you know, saying that here with packet loss of less than 2% of HEVC with SRT 2.7 megabits. So using a high-end protocol which will increase the quality, double the size HEVC does. You need some good hardware for encoding that, but with SRT at 2.7 megabytes, so using less bandwidth, getting a higher quality image on a more robust protocol. I think it's really cool that we have two options now: NDI route or the SRT route. Protects against jitter, packet loss, bandwidth fluctuation, so your viewers get the best viewing experience, which is the bottom line with all of this. So big update for OBS, and obviously it makes me look back at stuff for steemcasting again. I definitely can see myself using this overlay drag test stuff. There is some kind of weird thing that eposvox was talking about with administration access, so I don't know if that's just a Windows thing or if it's a Mac thing. That could be a stumbling block for I might have to do a little tutorial video to be able to turn the administrator access on and off. You have to drag these in first, and then without admin access, and then you can log in with admin, which is kind of a weird setup. So hopefully this is just in the release candidate 1 and they fix that later on. Having to have administrator access in a streaming app is pretty dangerous as well if you're streaming for hours and hours and hours on end. I wouldn't want to have that level of access on OBS because somebody gets into your machine and you've got an issue with that. But kind of exciting. New version. I'm always excited when a new version of OBS comes out. I didn't realize that 25 was on the cards, and I'm presuming that they'll be pushing a lot more stuff into this in the weeks to come. Go and check it out if you want. You can find them on Twitter, OBS Project. I'll be doing some play testing with this drag and drop demo to see if I can get what I'm realizing in my head for steemcasting and Steem actually built out. All right, I'll catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye.